Friday from the Casco Viejo area of Panama City. Today we're going to be tourists. So usually we might, wind up in some possibly touristy kind of place, but we don't really do like super touristy things and have a tour guide. We just kind of figure it out by ourselves. But we wanted to come down to Casco Viejo and learn all about the history, because there's a massive amount of history in Panama, especially in Panama City. And so we're here to learn all about it today. So I invite you to follow along with us, see what we find. I have no idea. I never know what we're gonna come across in these adventures that we end up on. But from the street, it's pretty lively. So I think it's gonna be fun. Anyway, if you like videos like this and you wanna see places all over Panama, make sure you subscribe, click notify, and believe me, do not forget to join the I Go Panama Facebook group linked below. That's where you're going to get all of your questions and answered about Panama, whether you want to move here, if you're living here already, or just want to visit and be a tourist like we're being today. All right, we're going to go find our tour guide and take a nice tour of Casco Viejo. We are inside of the beautiful St. Joseph's Church that was built in, get a load of this, 1675. I'm a huge French history buff, especially French Revolution times. So that's like 100 years before the French Revolution. Pretty amazing. And what Gonzo was telling us, and again, you have to pay to get the whole story. I'm not telling you, but he was telling us that Panama Viejo, the old ruins, that we'll have a video about that soon. That was the first settlement, actually European settlement on the entire Pacific coast of the New World, but they had to move it. And when they did, it took 2 years because they couldn't consider Casco Viejo to be a settlement until a church was built. Now this wasn't the first church, but it's an oldie, but a goodie. This is a nativity scene. It's like, oh my gosh, I have never seen anything like this. So when you come into the church, if you can't figure out where it is, just wander around. But if you can't figure out where it is, ask. It's amazing.
These are usually set up for Christmas, so for like a month, they put them up. But here you have a lot of the story, the stories, New Testament, Jesus as a child. It starts over here with the Annunciation. The archangel shows up and tells Mary she's pregnant. And then she tells Joseph, and Joseph gets angry. What do you mean you're pregnant from God? And storms out. And he falls asleep, and in his dream, the archangel tells him, oh yeah, it is God. So, Mary, Elizabeth, maybe they're denied lodging in, presentation of baby Jesus in the temple, King Herod, killing of the innocents, escape to Egypt, the works, Jesus' childhood.
Much more of us.
Yeah. The day that there's this like festival in Jerusalem. After the festival, Mary and Joseph ride out of the city for like 2 days before they realize, like, hey, where's Jesus? And then they turn around, go find him, and they find him in the temple, surrounded by all the rabbis, and he is explaining scripture to them, kind of thing. That's up there in the corner. You see the little kids surrounded by the adults.
Oh yeah. We're just passing by on the street right next to the St. Joseph Church. This is an Argentinian steakhouse. Look at the decor in here. Like, I want my house to look like this. Gorgeous. When Brian and I were down here about 1.5 years ago, we saw this building here. It is just stunning. Now I gotta see if I can figure out what it is. Okay, so this was the Jesuit monastery. And they consider it to be the first university in Panama because the Jesuits, they lived here, but they also had library and schoolrooms and things like that. I'm considering moving my school's location here because it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it when they leave ruins like this, and it really shows the character without all of the remodeling and kind of the icing on the cake. I was telling you earlier about how much I love French history, and this building is very Parisian looking. That's because this was the original headquarters for the French when they took over trying to create the Panama Canal. So this was their headquarters, and then after that the United States took it over when they took over the Panama Canal building, and then after that Panama took it over. And right now it houses the Canal Museum.
Okay, so they had over the 16, 17, 1500s, it was made into this stone building.
So St. Joseph's was 1675. When
Yes.
was this one?
Finished 1673. So they moved here in 71, finished in 73,
Right, and then
the
we
other
have
one
the
75. Yeah.
Okay,
But in 73, when this was finished, then it became like the king signed the edict that made Panama City again an official settlement.
And what's the name of this one?
Santa Maria la Antigua, Our Lady of the Antigua, but St. Mary's. St. Mary's Cathedral.
Oh, that's my name. Okay, perfect. Well, this is the very first church from 1673. So this is St. Mary's. Of course, it has a Spanish name, but St. Mary's. And when this was built, then this area was officially a Spanish settlement. So it couldn't be a settlement until a church was built. So this is the one that started it all. And I think it's open and we're going to try to go in. We'll have to see. We're so fortunate because we're getting to see a lady model her polera.
You know, you get.
We're in luck. It's open. Wow. Guys, this like rivals things that I see in Europe in my travels. Just beautiful. Whoa. Absolutely stunning. Okay, if you don't take this tour with him, you're just dumb. I'll tell you. Because I was dumb. And now I'm much smarter because of this tour. This is the oldest statue of Mary in all of Panama from the late 1500s. And it just looks in pristine condition, just like the rest of this church. But he was telling us that the Pope visited in 2019. So they completely fixed this thing up because they wanted the Pope to have a super nice cathedral to come to. So everything in here, you know, has been remodeled. New pews, new floors, all that sort of thing.
Story is also kind of.
This statue is of Simon Bolivar, and we're hearing the history of him, and it is fascinating, the story of this man. I cannot emphasize any more than I already have that you have got to get here and take this tour. And I don't say that lightly. Look, I'm a history person. I live for this stuff. And I'm not easily impressed. I'm very impressed.
This guy is an understated world figure. His feats kind of dwarf some of the biggest names you read about in history. Or at least that are taught in history. He liberated what is now Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia from Spanish grip. So the top half of South America. A piece of land larger than the original 13 colonies of the U.S. In order to do that, he fought the Spanish in over 400 battles, of which he lost 6. In order to do that, he rode a distance on horseback with his army, equivalent to going halfway around the planet. So he rode a distance twice as long as Alexander the Great, 3 times as much as Napoleon, 10 times as much as Hannibal, the Carthaginian that crossed the Alps into Rome with his elephants. Bolivar didn't have elephants. I'll give Hannibal that much. But outside of Everest, you know, outside of K1, K2, K3 in Asia, the very next tallest, widest, longest mountain range is not the Alps. It's not the Rockies. It's the Andes in South America. This guy crossed the Andes with his army. Not just the width of it from Venezuela into Colombia, but then the length of it going down Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. So as he did that, all of that, he told the people, okay guys, you're free. What shall we do? Choose someone to lead you. Who shall we choose? Whomever you want. Well, we choose you. So he became president of Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador at the same time. And that's how he united them into La Gran Colombia, the Great Colombia, the great land of Colombia. Then he helped with a guy that was coming from South America, San Martin, the guy that liberated Argentina, Chile, and when he got to Peru, met up with this guy, they freed Peru. Then San Martin left, and the Peruvians adopted his constitution, made him president. So that's 4 countries now. Then he liberated Upper Peru, and they named him president. He said, no guys, I can't. I'm already running 4 countries without a fax machine. I'll send you my right-hand man, Sucre. He'll take care of you. So they said, okay, we'll take Sucre, but we will adopt your constitution, and we'll rename the country after you, Bolivia. So he's also one of the few people in history that have had a country named after them, not by themselves, but by the people.
I promise we're not stalking the Polaire lady, but she's still with us. So we've kind of come to the end of our tour. And this is basically the French Plaza down here, the French Embassy right here. Yeah, guys, we have learned so much, and this is really my first experience for Panamanian history. It really is. I have not studied much about it at all, and I have to say, let me turn it around so you can see me. So I have to say that it's fascinating. It's centuries old. This part of the city is so stunning and so beautiful, and the history just oozes out of the area. And if you love history, I ask that you don't come down here to just get one of these quickie kind of tours, like here's the National Theater and here's the Presidential Palace and here's the whatever, but to really get the stories behind everything. That's what I enjoy personally. And if you enjoy that, I'm going to ask that you look in the video description below and get the contact information to take this tour. Yes, it's a little more pricey than the other ones, but this is the kind of thing that I'm willing to pay good money for. Education. And believe me, I got an education today. And if you guys watch this channel, you know how much I love this country. I'm going to try not to get emotional. You know how much I love this country. And everything that I've loved about it so far has been the things that I've experienced. Just the people here, the animals, the nature, the challenges. But now to kind of put that into my educational umbrella and understand some of the history and what this country has witnessed, it's fascinating. It's awe-inspiring. It makes me emotional. It makes me want to learn more. Maybe I'll teach you more. Maybe I'll do some research and do some videos on Panamanian history. So if you want that, comment below and let me know. But if you really want a Panamanian perspective on what's going on around here, take this tour. You will not regret it. You will learn so much in 2 hours and see so much, and it really kind of pulls the country together. That's what it's done for me today, is it's really kind of just taken some of the edges of the country and pulled them together for me, so I have a little bit of a better understanding. And that's what I'm trying to do all of the time for you guys, is bring you a little better understanding of this amazing country. All right, so I'm off to dinner right now. Probably do a review of it, but please come out here to Casco Viejo. You won't be disappointed. All right, and so until next week, have a great one.